Let's talk about it. Good morning. It's been a minute, huh? I know Mental Health Month came and went and I missed it. No, I didn't miss it. You know what? When you are intentional, you got to do the work. Talking about it means doing it. You got to talk about it and be about it. Now, this morning while I'm getting ready, I just had something that is on my mind in my quiet time, in my prayer time, and also helping my daughter with some physics homework. I was reading over energy and how energy doesn't cease to exist. Energy can be mechanically moved and it can be moved through matter. It transmutes, it never ceases to exist, it doesn't die. With that being said, people always talking about protecting their energies, but you know what else? Protecting your energy, protecting your space, but also how you exert your energy and what you focus it in on. Gardening has just really been, it's a spiritual walk as well as a physical action. And as I garden and as I'm checking the leaves of the plants and watching where the fruit is putting on and where it might be coming on slower, and then looking at overnight where a big old gourd will appear, and yesterday it was just a flower. I am so amazed at what energy does, and it goes to a source that is available and is ripe to grow, right? Or to receive it. With that being said, I was watching, I'm watching the things grow, and I realize that everything develops and grows. Ooh, I almost got myself at a rate on its own, right? And you cannot count something or someone out based on visuals a lot of times, because you don't know what's going on the inside. Like I said the other day, I went outside and I looked at one of my gourds, on my butternut squash, and it was literally a bulb and a flower. And the next morning I came out, it was this big. And just overnight, water, sun, and waiting. My scripture this morning was, I think it was Exodus 14. I think it was, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. And that it came because I'm really tearing on something right now, and I'm gonna kind of keep it under wraps. But there was something I reached out about and have not received a response or even acknowledgement that communication had been received. And I don't want to jump to conclusions, but a lot of times people gatekeep as if things are theirs. But everything belongs to the Creator. And He does what He will. And He gives it to whom He desires. And just like when the plants are out there being what they are, doing what they do, just allowing the sun, the seed, the soil, and the water to do its work. So it is with those who are in life, working and doing things and living righteously. And righteous doesn't mean perfect, but existing as you are supposed to, and not morally being chaotic, right? Not causing harm, first doing no harm, and just living and doing what you're humanly supposed to be doing, and that's being kind to others and treating others as you would like to be treated. Development is going to happen either way. That segues into the next part of what I'm talking about. I know I'm kind of rambling, or it may seem like it to me, because I got so much I want to talk about. But I was watching a young lady this morning, and she was crying because the man was telling her basically, 100 other girls would die to be in this position, and I'm wasting my time being here, or what was it, more or less. I'm choosing down, basically. And this woman is carrying a child, and she's crying, and she's visually grieved. And when I talk about energy transferring, the mitochondrial DNA, the mother's trauma, I never understood this. I never understood. I know it to be true, but people would say those were old wives' tales. But I was raised by some sages, some oracles, some women who knew things from old and ancient. They might have not been able to articulate it very well, but what they were basically saying was energy transfers. You're going to mark your baby. They used to say you're going to mark the baby. So you're crying during your pregnancy, you're upset, you're unpleasant, you have experienced traumatic certain incidents. In some cases, some women are being physically abused, emotionally abused. Then you wonder why you have a skittish or a clingy or a crying baby when they get here. Not that children aren't supposed to be loved and nurtured because they need their nervous system soothed, because they do. You get here into this world and all systems firing and you don't know what it is. Just like if you've had surgery. We don't realize that even birth, coming through the matrix, is a traumatic experience. It's an experience. Some people say they don't remember it, but you can. And you definitely, if you're really in tune with yourself, you can feel certain things. You might not understand why, because a lot of people don't introspect as much as they probably should. But if you sit with your feelings long enough, you'll start to feel things. And you'll start to see things, and your mind will tell you, or if you deceive yourself, you'll say, oh no, that's just a dream, or I'm just feeling weird or feeling this way. But your body is a recorder. Like I said, energy does not die. It transfers. Your body is a recorder. It is a witness. Girl. And I know it might be some men watching, I apologize. But let me tell you, your body is a recorder. It is keeping score of all things that are happening. The amazing thing is neuroplasticity and changing your route can change your trajectory. Because we could start off one way, but with the right tools and the right people around us, we can move into another direction. And that's what I want to talk about. Yeah, all of us some have had wonderful beginnings, and some have had humble beginnings. Some have had beginnings that we don't even know how we got here and how we survived to the healthy, ripe age to be able to take care of ourselves. But glory be to Elohim, we're here, right? But we have all survived through some things. And then when you know better, you do better. So you move from survival mode to thriving. And you have to remember that this recorder is keeping the score. And it will testify against you. And so the things that we allow in, the people, the experiences, they all take up and house somewhere. And we got to move it. We've gotten into this thing where we think that Eastern practices in medicine are witchcraft, but they aren't. They are who we are. Our ancients and our ancestors understood the power of energy and moving it in different directions and staying away from certain things and people. Pain is just that. Pain is trapped energy in a space of your body that has already experienced a trauma. Did you know that? So think about your mind. Your head hurt. Your mind hurt. Depression. It is a it's an injury that energy has gone to and gets trapped there and causes systems to fire a particular way. Because as a man thinks, so is he. So we got to renew our minds. We got to renew our community and our tribes and the people that we communicate and connect with. We have to renew what we set our eyes upon. Our phones keep all kinds of algorithms and things like that. And it keeps score of what you look at. So if you look at, I know I look at a lot of quotes and things about energy and positive things. And sometimes, you get a ratchet here or there, and I laugh. I like to laugh at some things. But when the spirit man is woke, you start to see things for what they are. And it's exploitation, and it's sad because we're always portrayed, and I say us, and I don't like the word black. I present, I guess is what a person would call black, or I don't know what others might say I present as. But I subscribe to the fact that I am a descendant of the diaspora or the dispersed people, because my lineage is all over, and I've been dispersed from the four corners. But long story short, because of classification and because of race and because of psychology and because of sick shit that colonizers did and have done to continue to promote oppression and subjugation and poverty, they would say I'm black, okay? But I say that to say it makes us look bad. It makes us look like we don't have structure or love or community or one for another, because you see more of the dysfunction than the function. And so I'll rewind when I say I was raised by some sages, and certain things were taught. You don't disgrace your family. You don't disgrace yourself. You don't get out in public and act a fool, not with family. And when I say family, I say also people of the same race. You don't fight your brothers and sisters, because then people see where the ching in the armor is. Oh, if I can infiltrate, if they can kick each other's asses, it ain't nothing to get them, to conquer them. And that's our problem with all the gatekeeping in our communities and all of the entitlement, and only one person can do something the right way. And the energy does transfer, because you get a group of people in the same place, in the same boat, that pick up the same agenda, and they wonder why the boat don't float. Because you throw on an anchor in your own in the ship. I mean, in the location where the ship's supposed to sail. You setting up an anchor. Ain't that something? Yeah. That just was on my mind this morning. I'm getting up and I'm getting ready to go and watch my grandson graduate be promoted from the 6th grade to junior high. And I know people say sometimes, oh, they shouldn't celebrate this. But you know what? Celebrating milestones and encouraging people and celebrating and from K through to 6th grade is commendable, because delayed gratification. What? I gotta wait till high school? I gotta wait for 12 years to be celebrated for accomplishments or things? Yeah, we celebrate our children all the time in this family, but just gives them something to look forward to. Just a foretaste of what it will be if you make it through to junior high. Then a foretaste of what it will be if you make it through to 12th grade. And then putting your hands on a certificate that's tangible after you get out of high school, to something that gives you the key to unlock doors in college. And, bringing along athletic ability and academic abilities and the support of family. It's just amazing to be able to celebrate our children, because our children don't get celebrated often. A lot of times we're portrayed in a negative light, and we're seen a certain way because teachers come to school with their implicit biases and their things that they perceive us to be and parents to be. Because a lot of times we don't understand systems and how things work. And so that's another selfless plug with civic engagement. That is something that I do on top of being an entrepreneur and a business owner and a ED at a nonprofit. I do civic engagement, and I am a visionary, and I sell visions. I help people actualize what gifts and abilities they have. And it's amazing to be able to cheer people on and to watch them. I also do mentoring, and it's hard because, like I said, we have so many forces that we fighting against. Like, our children are idolizing things and people that demean themselves and talk about using drugs and just having sex with random people and calling themselves bitches and niggas and hoes. We the only race of people that chant our own demise and don't understand why we aren't the head and not the tail. Because as a man thinks, so is he. Out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth speaks. You got to believe you're more than a thug, a nigga, or a Percocet sexy popper, or talking about taking drugs. And then when you look online, you see people getting pumped full of Narcan, or you see an RIP to young men and women who have embraced this ideology and culture. And it's so sad. It is so sad. It's so sad. Because again, like I said, energy don't die, it transfers. So you leave from a material realm into a spiritual realm, stuck in a state of mind. Because heaven and hell is consciousness. Heaven and hell is your consciousness. It's a real place too. But you take your conscious energy into those locations. And it's so sad. And it's so sad. And I'm not the creator, and I'm not the gatekeeper for heaven or hell, but I know there has been a template laid, and certain things won't enter. And the way you leave here, and the way however that energy is transferred, whatever state of mind you're in, whatever you're thinking on, that's what it will be now for eternity. Because outside of here is time. Outside of time is eternity. And no one can measure eternity. And so while we're here and while we have time, think about where you put your energy. Think about what you pour your energy into. Think about how you express and exert your energy. I ain't arguing with nobody. Never really have been an arguer anyway. But I'm not arguing with nobody. I might need my last breath for something that somebody need to hear. And I'm not arguing with people who won't change. And I'm not threatening people. But I will say this, I have boundaries. And if you cross them, I will address it. But I'm not arguing, I'm not fighting with you. The best whooping is a whole lot of letting alone sometimes. Leaving people to their own devices. Leave them to themselves. Let them see who they are. Because I ain't going to keep telling you. Because every time I tell you, all you can look at is where I've been, where I did, and how I used to. So I'm going to let you sit with you. And then you figure out why you the only one in your camp. And don't nobody want to play with you. Oh my. Man, oh man, oh man. It's a day. I can go on and on and on. But at any rate, like I said, I got a child I got to get ready and get her to school. And I'm also wanting to show up and be present. And that's something else too. As a parent, as a grandmother, as a mother, I did say parent, right? As a grandmother, as a mother, as a friend, my love language is being present. It's not a present. It's not things. Because I overindulge and I buy myself too much stuff. I don't need gifts. And my gift to others is, of course, I give physical gifts because I love to give. I'm a giver and I'm a doer. But my gift is my presence. I never want anybody to know that I could have been somewhere and chose not to be. Kids will never forget. They'll forget a gift. They'll play with a toy and tear it up the same day. They won't forget your physical presence in a time where they looking out and they just wanted to see your face. And that is something that I pride myself on doing. I'm not proud of it, but it's my love language. That's how I show up. I might not show up to every party and shindig or hang out with other people, but when they come to friends and family, honey, if you need me, guess what? Let something happen. I am there. I will celebrate you. I love to celebrate wins. Um, I really, really, really come in the more current years come to understand what it feels like and what it means for a person to show up in your grief as well. So I do that. Although that's the worst part of life. I hate it, but to know that you have support and that people love you and they stand in solidarity with you, because like I said, energy doesn't die, it transfers, and you can feel it. You can feel love just like you can feel hate. Today, choose love. Today, show up. Today, protect your energy. Today, be intentional. And today, be blessed.